Hello, everyone. This is Fahmi from Battery Low Interactive, and we are back again with your show, Battery Low and Live. And today we have the topic which you love. Once again, of course, in our last episode we talked about games, serious games, of course. And today we're going to, in similar direction, quite similar topic. I'd say it's about gamification, and but this is not the highlights of the show. The highlights of the show is obviously our guests. So I'll just go ahead and just invite them on the screen for you. So let's have the guests on the screen with me, and let's introduce, get them, let our audiences enjoy them. I'll start with you on my right, Siam Hossain. Yeah.
Hi, Ami. Thanks a lot for having me here.
And on the right side of Siam Bhai, there's Deeptha Vijayan.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Minas, for inviting me. Hope all of you
Well,
are doing well.
well. Not thank me. The pleasure is all ours that you have taken time out of your busy schedule. We know that how busy you people are. So it means a lot to me, to us, our family, and also all the fans out there who are watching right now. So that you have managed your time. So thank you so much on behalf of our whole family. Thank you so much. So starting briefly, so to give everyone a very generic context, I would ask both of you to share about yourself and your life right now in a very short manner, whatever you want to say. Just introduction.
Sure. Deeptha, do you want to go first or do you want me?
No, you can go first.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm Siam, and right now living in Buffalo, New York. I used to live in the New York City, but after the COVID-19 pandemic, I kind of escaped. I moved to US 10 years back, and I did my master's over here from University of Houston. I worked in a financial investment company for 6 years as an AVP. Then I left my job 2 years back. I started my company where we help students to help get land jobs in US companies. It's called Get Me Hired, and we started this company last year. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
All right. I'm Deeptha, and I've been in the gaming industry for almost 2 decades. And I'm a computer engineer. I've done marketing and in both traditional and digital marketing. I've been in the industry working with a company called WI for 16 years. I've been into various types of games. Started with India's first CD-ROM title, Karishma the Wonder That Is India. This was a title for kids, explaining the culture of India, targeting NRI kids. And then after that, I worked on almost 80% of international airlines, working on their in-flight entertainment software and casual games. And then the other gaming areas that I have had an opportunity are games for kids, then social casino games, where we partnered with the real world casinos in Las Vegas. And then we have console games and PC with Sumo Video Games, Pune. Then there was another experience with 3D virtual world, full 3D virtual world Gogio with customer Centria. So that is in, and yeah, of course, there's a company where I worked with games which had original Indian content and they were targeting the global market. And that was again casual games. So this is in short about me, and I have handled various roles like started with an artist, did a lot of art, then after that programming, then game design, then production, then head of studio, and roles like that. I've also done marketing and both digital and traditional marketing, and of course recruitment and training. And so it's kind of worn different hats. It's been really interesting. So that's in short about me.
So thank you so much for sharing all this. So I'll just pick up on where you left, because you are talking about something about recruiting and getting people to your company and to the institution that you are currently in or while you are working. So we know that the topic for today's show is about mostly it's based on recruiting. I mean, well, there you go, gamification in HR and education. So we know that by default, though education means on a large level, like on a bigger level, we mean that enlightenment or getting to know you much better. I mean, there are many definitions out there, but largely in a very practical world, people usually use their education to earn money, to have a good career. That's the thing people usually tend to do, right? So about career, so if we go in that way, so I'll start with Deeptha out there. So in your long career, when you were actually going through people's CVs, you are sorting them, or probably you are deciding whom to take, whom to not to take. So have you ever tried gamification in your recruitment process? If you did, what was that?
Uh, Not really, I would say gamification was done at that time, mainly because I feel one of the reasons why companies don't go for this is because there is a lot of time and investment into it. And investment may not be much, but then there is time, there's a different thought process and things like that. But then I have seen a lot of other companies who are using gamification, which is like really very very interesting and inspiring. And some of the things, in fact, I did play some game related to that. And so the game, this game is knack, and then there is scoutable. So in knack, what you have to do is basically what, I mean, everybody know that it's difficult to, go through so many CVs, and even starting from the JDs. In one of the companies, we were trying to change the way the JD is written. Okay, it's like making it more, pictorial and things like that. So the whole process of recruitment becomes like a bit monotonous and tedious. So we have to add some fun into it and make it more interesting for the interviewer and the interviewee both. Okay, so some of the games that, so in this particular game which I played, the snack app, it was basically to understand the quality of the person, basically, whether you have leadership quality, or you have, how you are dealing with different situations and things like that. So and some companies are not even asking for resumes. What they're doing is they are asking people to play some games or apps which they have developed, and they have developed these games using the help of psychologists and their HR team and everything. And then they have come up with these apps, and they share it with their candidates, and they ask them to play. The results are coming from the game, and based on that, then they go ahead with the next process. So it's interesting, and it becomes really very helpful for the interviewer as well. So that's in short. I will leave it to CM to talk more about it probably.
Yeah, what about you? Thank you so much, Deeptha. What about you, Siambai? Have you incorporated it in your Get Me Hired, or like have you seen any companies doing it in the US, or like any company you know?
Like specifically gamification or what part?
Yeah, gamification in their recruitment process.
In the recruitment process. So I can say on Deeptha's point that I actually never used it for Get Me Hired, but I have seen Scoutable doing very good. And the first time I bumped up to it, I was like, oh, this is such a cool concept. On we actually, the last time when I was talking with Minhas, I was talking about exactly this app. I forgot the name, but it's nice how they basically are like testing people real time on real environments. And yeah, so that's something I have seen myself. In Get Me Hired, we are using it in a different. We are building a platform, but that's not for recruitment. That's for gamification, for like building the product stickiness, so that the students or the users are more like glued to the product. But that's probably I can segue to that later whenever that section comes. But yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So yeah,
I
you
also
wanna add
read
something?
about, there are some restaurants that are using gamification. So, on even some other companies where they create real life scenarios, and then they see how the people are reacting to it. And that's like really important. It gives more insight than, just reading a resume or asking a few questions, because they are going through kind of real experience. Yeah, that's, I just wanted to add that part.
Yeah, thank you so
Yes,
much.
done.
And I think that actually clarifies a bit for the audiences who are there, and who some audience might be just new to the term gamification. So just to clarify, so whenever we we take the elements of a game as a concept, like whatever happens in a game, like a simulation, or there are reward points or leveling up, these type of things happen in a game, right? So if we take them out and apply it in a real life scenario, through any kind of system, so that's basically gamification. So we know that it has been used by many companies, like as both of our speakers have suggested, given you some examples in their HR, and we will learn about many more examples in today's session, hopefully, and we're going to keep discussing about it. All right, so I'm going to just take a bit turn here, because we want to give some more information to our guests, since we have both of you in our very special episode. So I just want to ask some personal questions, if that's okay. So uh, I'll just take this permission to be granted. Go for it. So my question to Siam Bhai would be in first, that in your childhood, so what kind of person were you? I mean, were you the nerd who like stays on top of the class, or like who stays top on the exams, or something like that? Or are you like the boy who runs out to video game shop or friend's house to play games, or like any kind of sports? Who are you?
Are there only two options here? Can there be a third or fourth option?
No, you can always add something. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I was one of those students who basically was kind of like a backbencher and like never played sports, like physical sports, but I played a lot of games. I was a hardcore gamer. I had a Excel sheet built with heroes list and the villains list, their character sets. Like I had a huge Excel sheet, and I was so sad when my computer crashed and my entire Excel sheet got lost, which had like 2-3 years of work. So I'm that kind of a person. But yeah, like I mean, as I grew up, I think to answer your question, I was more like a kind of like an averager. I would say like I have been always an average grader in the class because I think I had always potential, like God gifted wise, but I never like, I don't think I ever like fully like took advantage of it. Just before the exam, I crammed, and somehow that's how I survived my whole life. So yeah, just to give you a context, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So sorry about your Excel sheet getting lost. So it's a shame that they didn't have Google Sheets back in the day
I
where
know.
you could.
I could have shared it. I could have shared it, or I could have like that could have been a thing, right? Like yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
what about you, Deeptha? Same question to you. Who are you as a student?
Um, well, back in those days, not really. I had an opportunity to play more games, but then I used to be not bad as a student. And but then I was very creative, and I used to paint, dance, and all those kind of things, and drama, creating costumes and all these things, so a lot of creativity. Actually, I come from a background where the people are, all professionals and creative both. So so that was my childhood. And games, actually, I started playing only once I got to the job, but then in my project was making a software for making animations. So that's how I got into gaming from there. And so the first games, in fact, I started developing very simple games, and that's when I started playing games. And yeah.
Oh, that's
And
interesting. So we have a mixture of backgrounds in there, and both of them have their own success stories, and have set examples for all the young people out there who are watching this show. So you can take your inspiration in your own kind of way, I guess. So that's a bit learning for you guys. I think no matter what backgrounds you belong to and whatever you do in your childhood, you can always pick it. You can pursue your childhood passion. You can pick up a new passion. You can do whatever you want, as long as, yeah. Siam bhai, you want to add?
Can I add? This is I. Thanks for bringing up this question about childhood. These are the childhoods are always the pointers of who we eventually will become when we're like adults, because childhoods are the ultimate. Like the morning shows the day. I really believe that. Like if we just whenever I feel lost, I just look at how I was in as a child, and that's what shows that okay, that's my path. That should that's basically what how I find myself. Just one thing I wanted to add on the games. I forgot what age made it, but I think I was probably in the third or fourth grade. I made like a. I can share it later on with you, Minhas, and I don't know how I share it, but it's like I made a 3-page like game where there were drawings, and like people can have to go through multiple things, like they have to go through like a lot of alligators, like it had a lot of inspiration. A lot of the games I
That's
played
interesting.
all in the paper, like just pen and paper. And I was actually, I mean, when I was growing up, I always wanted to become a game designer. Obviously, in Bangladesh, we do not have that kind of culture to, like appreciate game design. Like, okay, Siam, you have to engineering. Who studies game design? What is this? Like, this is not a career. So, but right now I see life as a game. So I'm still playing a game, but it's a different type of game. But yeah, just wanted to add that, like, I'm also a gamer, core to the heart. So just wanted to add that. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Well, you're actually right, I think, because as Deeptha was also saying, that her childhood was it was about culture, it was about art. So eventually, when she learned about games, when she got into the profession, she initially picked it up, and it has been 2 decades, and she has been a phenomenal persona in the context of game industry in India and subcontinent. So it shows actually that. Whatever you didn't do in the childhood, it actually helps you. I mean, in a positive or negative way. If you had a good one, it actually helps you to propel. And if you have a bad one, well, then you have to recover from it. That's certain. Well, interesting topics coming up. We'll move towards the topic once again. So we are talking about the recruitment process. So about recruitment, we have like this situation, global situation where the employment rate, we know that no matter which country you belong to, I mean, the countries who have handled Corona very successfully, like Singapore. So even Singapore has like cut down, I think 20% or something of their workforce. I mean, overall. So that's the situation of the most successful countries. So not to mention the ones who have been treating it very badly. So how do you think life will be in terms of like recruitment, in terms of job security, in terms of job after this pandemic situation? Because clearly all of the world has taken a hit. So who wants to go first? Siam bhai, you want to go first?
Sure. So just so that I understand the question properly, so how would the job scenario be, or can you, like, is that
Yeah,
the question?
yeah, the job scenario. Because overall the recruitment things, and many people are getting fired. Let's face it, they have already been fired, most of them, and many of them will lose their jobs in a few months probably. So
Right.
overall, we are hitting a big unemployment rating overall. So what will be the case in the near future, and how soon can we recover from it?
Right, right. So this is I have a I don't know if it is a common view, but I have a like a view of I've been waiting for the fourth industrial revolution, or basically the, like, I think, like, some of the audiences probably know of the cyber physical systems, which is basically when the, like, civilization goes through different spikes of like in this, like, different spikes of technological jumps. So our previous technological jump was the industrial revolution, and then the next one is basically when everything which can be connected to the internet will be connected to the internet. So we are seeing IoT devices. We are almost hybrid machines right now. We have our phone every time with us. So the point I'm trying to make is that we are all headed towards a more virtual society, and we were already headed towards that. We know that, like, our dating has changed, our everything already has been changing. I think what coronavirus did is that just expedited this process. Basically, what coronavirus did is that, hey, like, people used to work, like, go to office from work, but companies started saying that, hey, you don't have to come to office anymore. You can just stay in some, like, some remote village in Pune, just having a good Wi-Fi, and that's where you work from in a global company. So maybe the structure of cities or civilization could shift because of this pressure. It was shifting anyway, but that's how I am seeing it. I do not see, so whenever there is like a global crisis, it is a crisis. A lot of people are losing jobs, but a lot of jobs are also being created. And the jobs are probably getting created in healthcare innovation, or especially in tech. I think the having a tech skill will almost become a mandate right now, no matter what kind of profession you have, because that is something which, like, needs to be more abundant, which was already going in that direction. When we say that, yes, job loss of a certain type of category, it will only push more towards automation, more robots, and more, like more basically like more futuristic things, in hyper connected societies. So that's how I see things. Just one last note: I have been kind of like brainstorming with one of my friends on how the future civilization will look like after the COVID-19. Is that right now how the cities are, like the civilization is built, is that city is the primary concept. No matter how many countries we have, India, let's say, have some couple of like mega cities like Hyderabad, Mumbai. These are sucking all the brain power. But maybe with COVID-19, the need of being close physically might not matter anymore. People can probably become distributed again, but it will be, instead of city, it will be like hyper homes. So in the home, there will be maybe like 3-4 screens. One will be Zoom, another will be, I don't know, Skype, and everything will be measured through like all kind of sensors. And that is the new type of societies where people will have their own centers, where they will have their own families, and they will still be able to work in like some other company. They will still be able to, like build their society. So that's like a very extreme version of it, but I think it is probably going more towards that. So I don't know if I would answer your question, but just to like, if people want to prepare on what do I do in this pandemic, this is a great time to, since everyone is sitting at home, best time to learn some kind of tech skills, because that will only prepare you for the post-pandemic civilization even more. So that's my thought about this.
Thank you, Siam bhai. Deeptha, you want to add something on this?
Yes, I feel that though COVID has created a lot of laws and things like that, but there are pros to it, like Sim just said. I feel this is a time where people are, exploring their own skills, which they did not have the time to understand or explore because of the time constraints. And they're coming up with really great new ideas, and we see, on spot entrepreneurs coming up here and there doing, things based on the situations. And the other thing would be like, it has become a good thing for recruitment in a way, because so far it was like, we are always worried to have people working from home because of n number of factors. We feel we cannot collaborate, we feel we cannot maintain confidentiality, and all kinds of things. But then now everything is ruled out, and people are able to seamlessly work from home, which is so beautiful. So now this brings to the next thing, that is, because of this, like Shim said, people in small towns will be able to get good job opportunities without moving out. And and even for the companies, then whatever talent you require, we can get it from anywhere. They can be sitting anywhere, of their choice, and still work for us, which is like really good. So we can really nail down the right talent and get them at the right time. No relocation or any such things. And using technology, collaboration has become so simple and nice and seamless. And we are having very good confidence that, this can go ahead easily. So that is a very, very good thing that has happened in this whole Corona situation, I would say.
Yeah, there's always both of the sides, like two sides of a coin. So you just have to pick whichever you want to see, I guess. Anyways, so yeah, we know that this is a different world we are moving in, and regardless of the situation, whatever way it turns out, we believe that there's this notion that's going worldwide, that the use of gamification in different aspects of our life has increased. And I was, as we were discussing, sorry about that, as we were discussing about recruitment segment. So, do you think principally that gamification raises, the people who apply to different jobs, their interest in a particular job, and encourages, their performance? I mean, it has two sides of the coin. I mean, if a company has gamification in their recruitment process, and the same company, if it has like some sort of gamification tool implemented in the performance evaluation of the employees. So do you think in general, it creates some sort of motivation, positive motivation towards the applicant that I should get a job in this company? Or does it create some sort of a fear in their mind that probably it's not the best choice? Deeptha, you want to go first?
Yeah, yes. I think that, when we are talking about gamification, we are not talking about hardcore gaming, as gamers. They don't have to be gamers to get into these gamification um, techniques that we are using. Okay. So anybody who can, understand basic things like how to go around and things like that will be able to do this. And I think, it is, in fact, it may be good because I don't think it will be demotivating because it's a fun experience. Okay. And it is like something which will last in their mind for a long time. Because when instead of just going through documents and for example, an onboarding process, I mean, how many people will raise their hands and say, like, filling up these so many forms for so many hours together on the day one when you should be actually enjoying knowing more people and understanding the company, and it should be fun and it should be a very memorable day. And if we gamify that whole onboarding experience, which some of the companies have done, it is such a good experience. Like, some people have done, like, they have gamified this experience and they leave the candidates in their room to explore, maybe answer some questions and quiz and clues, and maybe even some of them are even putting people along with their future people who will be working with them, their colleagues, and then they get to know more then and there, because for them to move ahead, like one of the companies, they put the candidates, this is recruitment how they do, they put the candidates into a room where that they have to get in, and there are colleagues also in that room, and they can get out only after they have solved some clues. So it is like, and for that they need to collaborate, solve puzzles, and becomes so much fun, and you instantly get to know people whom you're going to work with in future. And it's really an amazing and very, very nice experience. I think more and more people should get into gamification because that's a way to go ahead. that
Thank you,
that's
Deeptha.
Yeah.
Siam, right? You know it?
Sure, I can add gamification for, let's say, like recruitment is part of the like starting of the funnel, but more is retention. Can we talk about retention here, or is it only for recruitment?
No, no, no. It's also about retention. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, yeah. So in any kind of funnel, there is always like the starting phase, which is recruitment. There can be a lot of like use of gamification, as Deeptha said. So basically, my goal, for at least for, I can talk a little bit about our platform. What we are trying to do is that we're basically like teaching them coding. That's basically our job. But what we are seeing is that more and more online coding schools are being generated, and there is a common problem they're facing. The main problem is that online schools doesn't have the same kind of feeling as a physical school. In the physical school, you're meeting someone, it's like there is a vibe there. For online, you're like, okay, I'll watch it. I'll probably also watch Facebook. I mean, I'm not really involved here. So what gamification can do is that build that like product stickiness, that hey, like I'm stuck in this platform instead of looking at 5 more platforms. And we have been like looking at different kind of theories, and that's why we are looking at different kind of studies. So what we found is that basically for retention, there are 3 ways they gamify. One is called personal. So in the personal, I can give some of the examples, which is called avatar. I think you guys have probably seen that there are like avatar creation, that okay, you basically like I think even Facebook started it, is that like,
Yeah.
okay, I am creating my own persona that gives you that, okay, it's not just a generic thing, it is me, representation of me. So that is one kind of gamification, that people are representing themselves in an online platform. Then there is another concept called like leaderboard, which I think you guys have already seen. A lot of things, there is like a social competition, like a social hierarchy. That like if you're like active in this platform for 10 hours, you'll be on the top. If you're active like like 5 hours, you'll be second. So there's a leaderboard competition, which also gives people something. So these are called like personal ways of gamification. Then there are like mechanical ways of gamification. Mechanical ways are basically just basic feedback loops. Like let's say like you have goals. Like I have seen a lot of productivity apps, or even like Duolingo. Have you guys used Duolingo? I use it like all the time for learning any new languages. So
Oh, yeah.
Duolingo has a lot of mechanical gamification. Like basically, if you achieve this goal, then you will unlock this thing. then if you achieve this goal, like they have some kind of goal-oriented, micro-goal-oriented approach, which is also another way of gamifying, but this is more mechanical, like just task-oriented, that I'm doing this and I'm progressing myself. And then there are like emotional ways of gamification. Like emotional ways are basically, have you guys heard of the flow state? There's this psychologist who said that you can be in the flow state, which is basically you have the right alignment of skill and right alignment of challenge level, then you are in the mental flow state where you perform the best. So there is another way of gamification just by triggering people's emotions. So I know that this is like a very broad topic, but we are trying to just like do research on what are available already online by looking on apps like Scoutable, Duolingo, Brainscape. I use another app called Peak, which is basically like you play games and you sharpen your different brain muscles. So we're trying to like get inspired from all these apps and like websites and trying to integrate this in the platform we build. Because as I said, like the main problem for an online platform is retaining the users. Like Udemy has so many students in the beginning, but eventually very few actually complete the certificate, like complete the thing. So that's where I think the gamification can really help, and that's just, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I mean, like stickiness is important. I mean, yeah, there are lots of things to do and lots of platforms to sign up to, but it is really challenging for all of the platforms to actually have everyone on board till the last moment. So there you go. I said, like even in games, for example, I'm playing like let's say Uncharted 4. So whenever like I complete a mission with like some similar, some distinguished achievements, so I see that performance bar in my PS4 that very rare, only 35% people has completed it. So when I finished the game Batman Arkham Knight, I saw that the achievement game completion is only 27%. I mean, I'm one of the 27% who completed all the missions. I was thinking, come on, like why only 27? So even it's a game, it's a like blockbuster game. It has made millions of dollars probably, but still people, not all of them, they finish it. So we're talking about entertainment, and when it comes to training or training yourself, so it gets much more difficult, I guess. So we have to use some techniques there, and gamification can be a very handy tool. Yeah. So we'll move into the next segment of the discussion, but before that, I think we have a bonus round for you too. So it's I think we're playing a game here. Like it's not a very fun game. It's more of a like question answer type game. But I think there will be something else on the screen. So Mr. Devan is hearing me from the background. So we'd appreciate that if you changed our faces in the corner and put up the screen where you have that game.
Okay.
Oh, there we are in the corner. Oh my God. It's called Hire or Fire. So as we know that both of you have been in the seat of the directors, I mean, deciding factors or whether you want to take someone or you want to like not take someone, you want to fire someone. So we have been in that seat for quite some time. So we wanted to create some interesting personas out there, and we want you to give your honest opinion. First, the rule is you will say hire or fire, and after both of you give your opinion, I will ask you, any one of you, why you will hire or fire that guy.
Okay.
I will not ask everyone about everything, every opinion, but I'll be just selective, just random, you know.
Okay.
Just one.
Cool.
That's it.
Cool.
Okay, so we have two developers on screen. One has 4 or 5 years experience, but who is very poor in English. And we have another developer who has 1 or 2 years of working experience, who is fluent or English. So who are you going to hire or fire?
Do you want to go?
Yeah,
I definitely need way more characters. Yeah,
I would hire the person, the second one, who has 1 or 2 years of experience and fluent in English.
Thank you. No, non-reasoning first. Siam bhai, you?
I would go with the same, but I would really appreciate if we had more data about the personalities, because this is not much to decide on. Like, but yeah, I agree.
That's true. That's true. I agree to that also. But yeah.
Yeah. probably would have been better if we could get some actual CVs, but well, probably next time. Go on, the second
Yeah,
one.
that's fine.
That was easy.
Okay.
Okay, in the first one we have, he has like an MBA, 4 or 5 years working experience as well, not any single extraordinary work experience. Okay. Second one has a BBA, fresh grad, but great performance in different competitions like extracurricular activities. Siam bhai, I want you to go first now. Deeptha went first the last time.
Sure. Yeah, I would here as well. I'll probably prefer the younger, more like diverse. I guess yeah. I think I'll go
Second
with the
one,
second one. But it
BBA
would be
guy.
really nice if I knew what am I hiring for, because again I don't have that much clarity. But I'll go with the second one.
Deeptha, what about you?
I would go with the first one, who has 4 or 5 years working experience, because the reason being that, oh, should I say the reason or I should just
Yeah, go
say?
on. As we have different opinions, we
Yeah,
want to hear
yeah,
them both.
yeah. Okay. So basically, because a person who is an MBA, we straight away put them into management roles, and working experience, I think, would count over there, provided it is relevant experience. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Siam bhai? Diversification,
Yeah.
you said, I think.
I mean, no, I think like not diversification, but like I like that the younger person seems like someone who is very like agile and someone who can learn a lot of things. So it depends on what role I'm hiring for. If it is more like a startup, I'll probably prefer that. And if it is more like a big company, I just need like a rule follower kind of person who has a lot of experience in like following structure. We need both kind of characters. So depending on
Yeah.
what role I'm hiring, I'll hire the person. But both seems okay for
Yeah,
different
I
roles.
guess, yeah, I would agree to what you're saying, Sam, on that part. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next one.
Yep.
Fresh grad, great CGPA, no extracurricular. Okay. Fresh grad, lower CGPA, great extracurricular, and part-time working experience. Well, who wants to go first?
My
I'll go
answer,
for.
my answer will be the same. But yeah, go for it.
No, you go ahead, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, my answer will be honestly the same pattern here, because I'm running a startup. I look for people who are like fast learners, they're agile, they have like more generalist kind of characters. So because I need people who can jump multiple types of heads, and ideally people who have a little bit like average CGPAs and more extracurricular, they seem to be the people who can wear multiple hats. But that's just my viewpoint. I would really like it would be this is just a joke that it would be good to have more diversity in the. It looks like they're all male. There is no female. That's my only thing that
Oh,
I can. Okay, why is it like that? Why is it only male? So yeah, that's my only point. Yeah.
No, I
yeah.
think, yeah. Okay, Deeptha, go on.
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
No. I was telling a joke. Just go on.
Okay. Okay. This time I'm with you, CM, on this, because I feel that the fresh graduate who is taking an extra effort to do working, part-time working experience and great with extracurricular activities would definitely be a better candidate than the other one, who has knowledge but then not really much experience and not even interested in much curricular activities. I think I would prefer the second one. Yeah.
Okay, I think they had one slide with the girl's picture, or more slides. Then probably they removed it because it could create some confusion that whether you are judging by gender, which I'm sure none of you would do. But
No,
then again,
no.
just joking. Next one. Oh, we have a girl. Oh God. Okay.
There
Okay,
we go.
fine.
But the question is not about the gender, I think, because they have
Okay.
different skill sets. Okay, let's have a look. Engineer, great tech skill set, not an impressive personality. Okay. Engineer, okay with knowledge with tech, but the personality is really impressive. So would you, as we are hiring for an engineer position, that's clear here, so would you go with someone who has a great tech skill but not that much of an impressive personality, or would you go with someone with less knowledge in tech, like less lesser than the other one, but has like relatively more impressive personality? Ditha,
I think I'll go for the one with great tech skills because
Siam bhai.
I
No,
think
no, no.
without the
Before
tech
the
skills.
reasons.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yes, yes, yes. Please go ahead. Yeah.
No. Leave the finish your reasoning. I think I want to hear. Yeah.
All right. So I would go because an engineer without a tech skill is of no use to me because that is the first thing I would want him to have, and personality. I think I will groom and change her later on. So I go for her. Yeah.
Siam bhai.
Yeah, so this is also again. I know that I'm making all the answers complicated probably because I wish there was more data. So if I am hiring for a developer kind of role where the person just have to code and not interact with a lot of people, then yes, the person who has the great tech skill set, not that much impressive personality, sounds good. But in let's say for our coding bootcamp, these engineers are actually being hired for teaching, like instructors. So they actually need to have good personality. So it's difficult to say, but yeah, just for a very specific take like coding kind of role, I would agree with Deeptha that I'll go with the first one as well, just for coding, hardcore coding kind of role. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Perfect. Do you have anything else? Or is, oh, we have anything else? Okay. Uh, Fresh graduate, quick learner, ready to serve your company for a long time. On contrast, we have an expert who has great skill set, but he's up for a shorter contract. Okay, this is a very nice dilemma. I like it. So, Siamba, you want to go first this time?
Sure.
Don't say
I would
the reasoning.
definitely.
Sorry to cut you off. Don't say the reasoning first.
Oh, okay. Sure. So I'll definitely go with the first one.
Okay, Deeptha, what about you?
First one, definitely.
Oh God, you guys. Okay, now go on with your reasons. Siam bhai.
So yeah, sure. So for the first one, yeah, I think these are. I think I've already made it clear as a judge. I value quick learning. These are some of the skill sets I always look at, and I definitely look for long-term players. Like serving long-term commitment. These are very valuable for me. And since I have already hired in the last couple of minutes only guys, I will definitely prefer a female here. I will have a gender bias here as well. These are my reasons.
Oh, okay.
Nice one.
Nice
Deeptha,
one.
you want to add something?
Yeah. Um, I definitely want to hire girls, but then that's not my first preference. Meaning, I won't go only because of that. I feel that as a fresh graduate, the person should be a good learner and a quick learner because that's when we can start utilizing them in the projects, and a very good attitude to serve the company for a long time because short termers, I'm not in for them. I like people who are with you for a long time. And girl, yes, definitely. Then I will see yes. If there is a same situation between a boy and a girl, I would go for girl because I want more girls in the gaming industry.
Yeah, even like the people who stream games, the girls who stream are who are not, that much skilled of a player. I mean, I am not a gender biased guy, but it's just the way the world is. I mean, often they get much more attention than somebody when a male boy, like male person who is more skilled in the gaming. Usually he gets less follower because it's a girl, so it's understandable. Jokes
I
apart.
have a yeah. I'll just jump in here. I actually have a
Mhm.
very strong like if like preference over diversity in hiring because
Yes.
uh, because women are very different than men. Like in general, socially, culturally, in a lot of ways, how we are raised. And I think in a team, it is very much required to have that balance so that because we live in an innovation economy, we have to generate ideas, and ideas come from diverse set of things. So if it is all guys, it will just come similar type of ideas. If there are a balanced set of women, it will always be more creative, more balanced. And I am not promoter of just women team or just male team. It's just more important to have balance. That's my style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I would go with what you're saying, CM. The only reason why I said I would hire the girl because right now there is not enough of diversity in the gaming industry, and so that's why the preference for girls. But diversity is very, very important. It's very important.
Yeah, I
100%.
agree with both
Agree
of
with you.
you.
Yeah.
And I want to add something that those who are watching and who are really skilled at what you do, it's not, I mean, it's not bad. It's always good if you are a very skilled person. But as you know, the both of the guests here are veteran in their industries, and they're in their hiring and regarding this hiring process. And I also personally, I have been running a company for 5 years, so I have like one or two experiences about how whom to hire, like my fair share of good and bad experiences. So regarding all this, so all of us, all three of us could agree on something, that we look for long-term players. So
Yes.
probably you are a very good skilled person, but it doesn't matter to us that much if you are up for a very short period, because we when we are up into creating something, creating a team and going for long period, we want people who will be our companions for the long term, because that's what we want. Well, anyways, do we have anything else? I can see the mouse cursor. No, we don't. Okay. Well, that was hectic. Anyways, so thank you for the.
When do we, sorry for jumping, when do we get these candidates? We just hired so many. I need people.
That's nice.
Next time, probably we'll take some CVs to show in the session as well. We can have a recruitment spree on live, actually. That can be fun. Well, interesting idea. Live recruitment. How would that be? Like, you know.
That's perfect.
It's
That's the
interesting.
kind of
That's
idea you have. That's great. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. So we're back with question answers once again in the discussion session.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we'll move into something regarding the education and training. So we know that it's a very integral part of, team building, or like getting our workforce ready. I mean, the next generation ready for the before they join the workforce in their education, I mean. So in their education, and when we are providing them training once they are like freshly into some kind of a job. So do you think these training processes and the education could be more, could be made more efficient with gamification, and it could make them a better player when in the long term? And if yes, if you could cite any examples, that would be better. Siam bhai, you want to go first?
Uh, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So basically, I was talking about education sector and the training sector. Any person who is studying currently, or who is like fresh into a job, so they need some training. And in the education system, we also prepare them for the future. So do you think the process of gamification, if applied in the education and in the training process, can make them a far better workforce to work in, like whatever he's gonna build his career on?
Yeah, 110%. So basically, I think this is something which we covered just like a few minutes back on the gamification of retention. When I was saying it was actually in education, the apps like Duolingo and all these apps, there is like Brilliant. There are so many like new platforms or new education platforms coming which are using gamification. Which, as I said, like I already talked a little bit in the previous section. I can say that how the education is reforming right now, like than previously. So again, this also comes from the previous example I gave. Like we are transitioning from the industrial revolution, like industrial world, to a like virtual world more as a civilization. So this education system was built before that a student has to go through grade 1, grade 2, grade B. Everyone has to go through this. I call this shoe-sized education. So like you have different sizes of shoes, right? Like you have 6, 7, 8 different kinds of shoes. But human feet are customized. Everyone's feet, even right feet and left feet, is not the same size. If you measure it biologically, it's not 100% the same size. So if ideally the shoes should be customized, we should have a different size for right feet, for left feet, a little bit, maybe some micro inches different. But it wasn't be able to be done before because the industry was looking for like generalization. Okay, it's not possible, it's not scalable that way, that we have to only create 5, 6, 7, 8 size shoes. And that's how the school system also created this like generalized like a flat formula for everyone. So what is happening in education right now is that through internet or through software, everyone can actually have their own feedback loop. So for example, someone can get into some class, they can learn something, they can give the exam instantly, and they can say that, hey, like, okay, you learned something, you go to this track or that track. The students do not have to anymore go with grade 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of stage. People can graduate faster and with the right customized skill set. So previously in education, again, like I'm just making a comparison. In education before, the feedback loop was also very slow, because what was the feedback loop? That like coming to the core of education, the teacher was teaching something to a class, let's say 30 people class, and they give homeworks or some test. So after 1 week or something, they give the test. It's not required to do anymore like that. You learn something online in a TV, like a computer screen, you give the micro exams instantly, and you grade them, and you change their career path. Students do not need to learn physics, chemistry, everything. Like we have, for example, like when I was a kid, I learned religion, agriculture. I don't think that everyone needs to learn everything. Maybe there could be a broad general, but when we are learning something we are not interested in, we're basically zoning out, and that's why people are always like not interested in the classes. They're like, okay, like what are they teaching? Why am I learning this? I'll chat with my friends. And basically, I know that we all spend like from first grade to high school or college, 12 years of our life. I think that 12 year would be squeezed very easily in 5 or 6 years if it was made efficient. So I think that is where the gamification, or that's where the education is going in general. And that is only possible because we have like this amazing tool called internet, where like internet and basically more use of AI, where the like where our paths will be personalized when starting from we are a kid. So I give a test, I give some personality quiz, and they'll say, oh, see, I'm okay. Looks like based on that, you can become a programmer. Maybe not a programmer. They will give me 3 paths. Like, okay, you can become a programmer, an artist, blah blah. Then I choose this, and then I do a little bit of test, and then there will be again every month there will be a re-evaluation of my path. So this kind of amazing, like super customized personalizations were not possible. But I think like that's where we can go in terms of education. But yeah.
Thank you, Siam bhai. Deeptha, you're right.
Yeah, that's really great. I think that is really something we should be, steering people towards, because that way we will have people who are, taking up roles that they really passionate about. Because now we see so many people in the industry who are doing some courses, and then after some time they realize this is just not working. They have spent so many years doing engineering or something, and then they get into something else. If all that time was utilized for something that they're passionate about, they would have excelled and become the masters in that much time. When they have to start fresh, by then they would have become masters. So definitely agree to that. I think more and more people should come up with such ideas and let go this whole thing about learning these subjects only, and give the people choice, and we will have such great people in this world. The other thing about gamification in case of a company environment would be like, instead of just having learning and requirements for training and things like that, if we can group people together, like, this, and put the whole thing, gamify the whole thing. You have to reach from, suppose for example, you have to reach from here to the next stage, like maybe some game we develop around that. And for that there should be inputs from different team members, and then overall as a team, this is where they are progressing. So you have to reach, as a team you have to reach first. So in this way of doing things, there'll be a lot of collaboration. They will learn from each other, and they will try to move faster because they want to be the winners. So there is no need then for the managers or team leaders to be after them. Did you finish this training? Did you finish that? Or things like that, because it will just go on at its own pace and with so much of fun. So that's something which I just had to add.
Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely, very vital points about education system, and also like about teamworks and how it actually can help you. So, well, about gamification, I think we have discussed a lot of the issues. We'll have one more question at the very ending point of the show. Before that, we want to ask some person-oriented question to both of our guests, since we have got the honor to host you here. So we'll ask some specific person-centric question to both of you. So starting first with Siam Bhai. So we know that probably a lot of SME founders or startup founders are watching this or will watch this show. And you being an Asian kid going out to the US and founding a company there. And before even founding the company, you had other initiatives that actually made quite a stir and are used by people broadly, and people are getting benefited by those as well. So, what would be your message in general to all the people, all the Asian kids out there? We know that there will be different movements going on about Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, about racism and all. So we know that in this world, if you belong to the like either one of like those races, life can be a bit difficult. So to all the Asian kids out there who are like the founders of their SMEs or startups, so do you have any message?
Um, yeah, my message for especially the like the younger, let's say like younger myself, I say that like that's I wish someone can kind of like give me the message is that when you are young, especially you're from an Asian culture, there is a lot of cultural expectation from you that okay, you have to fit these roles, you have to become a doctor or engineer, you have like this fixed path, and it would be really nice if you could kind of break outside of your path, just have a little bit of risk, take some risks, take some new paths and make mistakes, and see what you actually like, because the 20s or younger ages is mostly about exploration, and the only way you can actually do exploration is by executing and choosing a path instead of thinking what might be my right path, because you can do a lot of hypotheses in your brain, but you won't know who you actually are unless you get into the ride. So my just only suggestion is that just get into a ride. In the max, what will happen is that you'll be probably be considered lost or exploring for external people. But it doesn't matter. In the after some exploration, you will eventually find out what you really love, and then you can completely hyper focus on that, and then you'll be successful. And eventually, the people who questioned you when you're young, saying that oh, this guy or this girl doesn't know anything, they will be like they will start following you because they also don't know what they want. So like don't so yeah, so that's my message.
All
Thank you
right.
so much, Siam Bhai.
So
Uh,
I would
yeah,
add
Deeptha,
to
you wanna-
this, that is, I think that what CM, that was very good point. And for the younger people, I think you should explore your passion. And I would also say that instead of working in isolation, always try to collaborate, because a lot of ideas coming together makes you progress faster, and you get to learn from each other, and at the end the result is really beautiful. And do not get scared, because fear is something which is a reason why people don't progress. You should, if you feel you have given enough thought about what you want to do, and you're able to have enough information to try out things, just go ahead, try it out. Do not fear failure, because from failure we do learn many things for being successful. And I think that is what is my suggestion.
that's a beautiful thing you could say. From failures, basically we learn. I mean, that's basically about that's about the cycle of life, that you fail and you learn and then you get up and you try for some victory. Yeah. Well, Deeptha, so we have like a specific question for you that about that. We know that the topic is about gamification, and you have been in the gaming industry for a long time. So in the game industry, there are different segments. I mean, there are like entertainment games, there are serious games, there are like many other segments as well. It's a like $150 billion industry, so there are many diversities. Most of it probably are taken by the AAA titles, and also the mobile games that we know are very much popular. But gamification is a thing like which is progressing rapidly as well. So, how do you think in the future gamification will have its place in the whole spectrum of the game industry? What will be its place in the huge multi-billion-dollar industry that we have?
I think gamification is moving at quite a fast pace now that people have understood the use of it and the benefits to the people who are following it. I think this will take a good amount of space, but it will still take time, because like I said in the beginning of this session, like, there is, it's a different track that you have to follow, right? But then more and more people are knowing the advantages, and they know even if you invest, it is like, you invest once and then it is updates to that, and then it is there with you forever, and there are many benefits, like you have done something and you can utilize it multiple number of times. You don't have to have a trainer, if you have to have a trainer for doing something, finding them, and every time it's so difficult. So if you gamify your things maximum, I think that is will be a good realization. It is becoming a realization, and I think soon we should have more space for it in this world. So maybe I wouldn't say the exact percentage, but I think it should take a larger share very soon, because that is where which will be beneficial for all.
Yeah, in my case, like I tend to think that the gamification is some sort of a bridge in the the serious world and the the game world that we built. So it's kind of a bridge connecting the both parties together because it has a bit of both. So in terms of gamification, I have a question specific to Siam Bhai. So we know that the privacy concerns have been one of the most discussed topics in the like last decade or so, especially after the Cambridge Analytica and everything. So in gamification, so we often know that we have to simulate most of our lives, like our activities and all. So do you think the privacy concerns will be the biggest hurdle gamification has to deal with? And if that is the case, what's your opinion on this?
Mm, yeah, so that's an interesting question. That basically like the more, yeah, I mean, privacy. I do not think see privacy as a concern. I think it is a important like checkpoint for data collection, because uh, yes, like in order for a system to be gamified, you need more data, obviously. But people's data are also private, so I think that is an important checkpoint where the companies are more liable to actually like be upfront about what they are taking. I think the problem with the privacy, what happened in the last decade, is more about the companies not being honest on what they are doing with the data. The users just want more transparency, and as long as the users are given that, hey, these are, like, we see these agreements, huge documentations, in the end you have like a small click. No one reads those things. Be more transparent. People just want more trust. And don't be a sneaky person. Like, don't be a sneaky company. Be a transparent, open company, and every privacy problem will go away. Like, that's what I think. Take all the data you want, but let me know. Give me a choice on what kind of data I can provide you or not provide you, or at least give me an open saying that, okay, these are the data we need for you, and these are the reasons we're using this data, and these are the boundaries. Or yeah, like, give a more transparent thing. And as long as companies are doing that, I think privacy is a very good important check. uh, but yeah, I don't see it as a concern. I think this is a good movement overall. Yeah, that's my thought.
Thank you, Siam Bhai. Okay, so
Piracy, you said piracy or piracy,
privacy,
right?
privacy.
Privacy, huh? That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay, I think that when we are doing gamification, privacy is not a concern, because for many things, privacy is good. Because the thing is, suppose if you are letting somebody to learn at their own pace, and there's nobody watching them over their back, at what pace they're going and things like that, then then I mean, then there is no issue, right? I mean, so I think that should not be an issue. In fact, it may work to the advantage, because now there is a lot of privacy, and you can, there are 10 things to learn, all gamified, and you pick what you want, and then at the end this is what is the result. So I think it may be to an advantage, is what I feel, because more options and more flexibility.
So yeah, so based on what you two have said, so you can conclude here, considering that it can actually be the holding stick for many of the companies who are suffering with these privacy concerns, because you can just gamify it and then you can give a better experience to the users who will not suspect anymore. Okay, so we are almost at the end of the show. We just have a couple of personal questions, then we'll take a general question from the audience, and then we'll wrap it up. So I'll start with Deeptha. So Deeptha, we know that you have had a long career so far in the professional game industry. So can you tell us what was the experience you loved most among your professional career? It's one question, and the secondary question would be like the recent experience that you had, like running Sumo Digital in Pune. So if you could share, I'm sure that many of the game enthusiasts will watch this episode. So if you could share something about running a game studio in Pune, so that would be awesome as well.
Okay. Okay. Overall, I mean, gaming has been a very good experience for me. I like the creative part of it, and it's not a rigid industry. Okay, which is one of the reasons why I didn't go for the traditional hardcore oracle or those kind of things, and I got into, because I have a creative mind, and I feel that there's lot of creativity in this industry. So that is really fun about being in the gaming, and. Uh, there's a lot of collaboration also. I'm a big person for collaboration, so even that is working. Now, running the gaming studio is a challenge, because challenge meaning it's fun as well as there are its own challenges. You have to keep the team motivated, and there should be scope for creativity, you know, openness, and people should be able to share ideas. So creating that kind of an environment, and across the levels, is it's a challenge. Many times it's good, but then there are areas where you got to make sure that especially we should give the freedom for people to speak, which is one thing. I think it's very important. And otherwise, running the studio is great because a lot of people want to get into gaming, unlike earlier days where even parents were like, like CM also said, like, what are you doing? You making games, you wasting time and all these things. So now that is over. In fact, I see parents actually giving them, mobiles and other devices getting for their children so that they can play games. So that barrier at least is crossed, which is one of the reasons we so many people into gaming. And to get the right talent is difficult when we are following traditional methods. So gamification over there will be very helpful, because finding the right talent for the kind of game that you want to develop is quite a task, because many of the institutes are still not, they are still figuring out. There are many who do this, but then if all the institutes have industrial training as part of their curriculum, like last 6 months or last 1 year, there are some institutes who are doing that very well, and we can see a difference in their students. So that becomes a challenge for us. So the first step is first to educate what is the kind of people we want, and have more interactions, and then we have to go ahead and hire. So getting the right talent is a bit of a challenge, but I think it should be okay. And keeping the team motivated, and you know, and coming up with ideas so that the end user experience for our players should be best. That's very interesting and challenging, and I really enjoyed my entire experience in gaming. Yeah. And
Thank you
Sumo
so
Video.
much.
So yeah, thank you.
Innovation and motivation, that was the highlight of her
Yeah.
thing about the experience. Siam bhai, just quickly before we move into the questions, so we know that we are so like curious about Get Me Hired. I mean, we all see the outlooks and everything, but we want to know, as this is an exclusive show, so could you give the viewers an exclusive update about your future plans, which you haven't probably publicly shared yet?
Sure. So basically, the thing we're trying to do in Get Me Hired is, like, let's say this is stage one, where we are helping the international students or immigrants who are already in US to land their first jobs. So these immigrants or new immigrants or international students, they're coming from different countries to a new country. We're starting with US. But what we see that there is a common theme that everyone goes through some kind of struggle, like a common struggle. And the common struggle is that they're new here, they're foreigners here, they do not have any kind of industry experience, they do not have any networks. So we are first solving to how to help them land jobs, but eventually where we are headed is that how we can empower these immigrants. We can empower them through giving them different kind of financing. Like, okay, hey, like you are an entrepreneurial idea, we'll invest in your idea. How about you start a US company? So I do not think there is a like a singular platform, let's say starting in US, where immigrants can speak, that who have connections in the also in politics. Like, it is a very broad thing, but eventually we want to become the platform for immigrants to speak, and immigrants are a very good niche to work with because they are usually the best talents from their home countries. If you can just hypercharge them,
Siam bhai, I can't hear you. Deeptha, can you hear him?
No, I think he's frozen his connection.
Yeah, I think Siam bhai is frozen on the screen. Something with his connections. Yeah, he has dropped.
Yeah, he's dropped. Okay.
I guess Mr. Dewan can get in a quick touch with Siam bhai. Well, in the meantime, well, I think he will be able to rejoin. In the meantime, Deeptha, just asking you. So, if you were the education minister, it was my final question. So, okay, Siam bhai is here. Okay, Siam bhai, sorry.
Yeah. Hey.
You finish first.
dropped off. Yeah, I don't know how much my computer just had a glitch, but yeah, did I answer? I don't know how much I went, but anyway, that's fine.
Okay, so so you want to recapitulate. So you basically want to give the solution for the professionals in one platform, like whatever you want to do. You want to land a job or you want to do something. So whatever you want to do.
Just to wrap up, is that we want to be the entity where we are empowering the immigrants, so that they can be not only a minority niche group in a country, but they can be a dominant group in the country who are moving things. We are already seeing this in US, that in the last 10 years, most of the billion-dollar companies, or many, like at least half of the companies, have actually been built by immigrants who are not from here. Elon Musk and like many Sundar Pichai, a lot of people who are not born and raised here. They came here after their undergrad or masters, but they came here and they took this space to big, like enormous things. So we want to empower more of these people. Let's say having 10 Elon Musks per year, for example, or 10 Sundar Pichais produced every year. So that's basically our goal.
That's awesome.
That's really empowering, I'd say. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys so much. So I am done with questions, but we will take just two quick questions from the audience. So if it's the time, if we can watch them now would be the good time to answer them. Should there be any guidelines or any other training courses to get people accustomed to HR gamification? Anyone want to take that?
So probably Deeptha.
Yeah, I could take that up. I think training courses, I doubt whether there is any. It's basically if you understand game design, probably that will be helpful for you. And as far as gamification goes, first of all, it starts with the basic requirement itself. So then after that, you get the requirement from the person. Then after that, to gamify, if you have a design background, I think it will be helpful. So I hope that answered the question.
Game design background. Yeah, go on. The second last question, I think. Getting gamification included in HR education, how can we include the underaddressed part of our society? Oh, that's an interesting one. The ones who don't have the reach to the modern technology. So we know that one of you is from Bangladesh and one of you is from India. So in both countries, we know that there are a lot of people who are like left behind and who are like the victim to the discrimination, and they don't have the latest access to the modern technology. So we know that it's do you think it creates some sort of a discrimination here, starting with Siam bhai?
Discrimination in which way? Just can you?
Like, if we just go on in the random not random, like very I'd say aggressive spree of implementing gamification in HR and education and training. So do you think the left out segment of the society, they might suffer from some sort of discrimination here because they were not raised with the same facilities as we did, or like the higher class did?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting question. I think that they could, but that is, I think that's where the role of the government comes, or basically the public policy officials comes, that they have to design a system that whenever, I think this happens with all the technologies, whenever there is a new invention of a technology, the party, especially usually government, is in charge of this thing, that they have to ensure that this is distributed properly and not being concentrated. But yeah, this will be faced in every industry, like unless the government has something in effect for that. So that's my thought.
Thank you guys, both of you, for allocating so much of your time to our viewers. So my last question or last feedback to you guys would be, if you want to say something to all the fans out here who are watching this or who will be watching it in the course of weeks, because the videos will be available in our Facebook and the YouTube. So if you want to say something to the fans, or if you want to say something about battery low or anything at all, so you are welcome.
Yeah, I go ahead. So I would like people to say that do not fear to explore, because if you do not explore, you do not progress, and do not be have any limitations, and do not, no idea is bad, right? I mean, so explore your ideas, go ahead, implement it, try it. Only then we can have a more progressive world and we can move forward. That's it.
Siam bhai, thank you, Deeptha.
Yeah, I mean, thanks a lot, first of all, for to Battery Low Interactive and Minhas for like doing this, like inviting us. This has been a great honor, and I would say actually the same message. I think some good message on being that, yeah, like definitely explore and collaborate. I think like those are the two things which I am taking from this show, and I hope that everyone also can take from this show. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Minas and Battery Low Interactive. And thank you, all the viewers, for your valuable time. It was really nice being on this session. There was a lot of learning and sharing of information. I mean, I hope it was useful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
There you guys, there you go. See you next week, and thanks to all of you and the guests and everyone who will watch this, and hopefully it can help you in some part of your life. Take care. Goodbye. Bye bye. Fahmi signing out.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.